All right, so Nolan Rucci, five-star offensive tackle product, headed to Wisconsin. 6'8", 295 pounds, and a one-way ticket to Camp Randall. Five-star offensive lineman Nolan Rucci, again, making it official on CBS Sports HQ. He will be a Wisconsin Badger. Rucci is the number 14 overall prospect in our 24/7 composite and the 5th-ranked offensive tackle. A massive get for Paul Chryst program. Joining us now to dig into the commitment, 24/7 Director of Scouting Barton Simmons and Max Preps Editor Zach Poff. Gentlemen, the raw talent, it's otherworldly here. Nolan Rucci is headed to one of the Big Ten's best programs. Barton, I'll go to you first here. How big of a commitment is this for the Badgers?
It's huge, and Wisconsin has made its hay really recruiting a lot of guys that were developmental in nature, recruiting guys that come in at 250 pounds and they build them up and they change positions and they become these first-rounders. Nolan Rucci comes in with first-round traits right out of the box. I mean, there's just not very many human beings in the world walking around that look like this guy. And with that said, he's also very coordinated. He's very athletic. He's got the pedigree for sure, and he's got the nasty streak as well. And so this is the type of guy that still needs to be developed, and he's still raw, and he doesn't play an elite level of competition every Friday night. But he's going to go to Wisconsin, and given what they do regularly with offensive linemen and preparing them for the NFL draft, to have this kind of clay to work with, that there's very little doubt in my mind that this is a guy as a future pro and a future anchor at Wisconsin and continuing that long lineage of strong offensive line play.
Yeah, and I mean, you just look at what he does on both sides of the ball at the high school level. He's also a big-time playmaker on the defensive line. But when you look at his tape on the offensive line, man, he does it all, man. He's the perfect guy you're going to build if you want to play the offensive tackle position. 6'8", 295, and really doesn't have much fat on him at all. He's a great athlete, and I think he's going to make a huge impact at Wisconsin. And this is, one of the biggest gets Wisconsin's ever had. I mean, you look at him and Logan Brown, those are the only 5-stars to commit to Wisconsin in the last 10 years. So he's going to bring that pedigree with him to Wisconsin. And one guy I can tell you who is extremely happy right now, that's Jalen Berger. Former stud at Don Bosco Prep. He's going to be that next big-time running back for the Badgers. And it's going to be nice to have a guy like Nolan Rucci blocking for you.
He has ruined more than a few Fridays, I am sure. Son of a professional, brother to a 3-star stud in his own right. In many ways, Nolan Rucci has been bred for Big Ten football. The size, the speed, they're there. Zach, where do you expect Rucci to take his biggest strides forward in the next few years?
I think, Barton was touching on it. I mean, Wisconsin's a perfect place to go if you're an offensive lineman. They're going to mold you into that NFL type of guy. And he's definitely going to be a dude who's going to, have a good chance to hear his name called in the first round of the NFL draft in about 4 or 5 years. And, Joe, this one's for you. A guy he reminds me of is Mike McGlinchey, a former stud at Notre Dame because of that 6'8" frame. And I think he's going to have the same type of potential that he did, first-round pick with the 49ers.
Yeah, Zach mentioned Logan Brown, the previous 5-star that Wisconsin landed on the offensive line. That's a guy, and granted, came in a little banged up, but redshirted his first year. I think that this is a great situation for Nolan Rucci to come in because as talented as he is, as massive as he is, as physically ready as he is, again, he could use some development. He could use some technique work. He could use some experience and some coaching. And so that he will head to Wisconsin without the pressure to get on the field right away at a position that's very developmental in nature, I think is a great spot for him. He can go to Wisconsin. If necessary, he can redshirt. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. But when he gets on the field, man, that trajectory is going to be so steep in terms of his development. He's going to become so good so fast. And has such unique tools to work with that it really feels like a nice marriage there with the Wisconsin commitment.
Create a player in nature. Zach, Barton, fantastic stuff as always. Nolan Rucci, a Wisconsin Badger. And for more from our guys, be sure to download and subscribe the Cover 3 podcast, keeping you in the know for all things college football. And right now, there's a lot to know. Be sure to get it in your ears. Download and subscribe to the Cover 3 podcast.